want to say anything. I just want to have him come up here and do his thing. Can we give it up for Chavez, everybody, one more time, please? Completely unrelated. My last girlfriend was Brazilian and Portuguese. In Portuguese, Chaves, which is spelled almost identical, is the way that they say keys. Like Chaves, they say Chaves. And unfortunately, it now sticks to me. I don't, even though I know the name, I know the last name, Chavez is a real name, I look at that and I actually have to actively say Chavez and not Chavez.
So in Portuguese,
Chavez. Yeah,
keys?
right. Like Las Llaves?
Yeah.
Chavez.
It's interesting because all the gringos call me Chavez.
Well, look at, I just call you keys because you're the key, bro. Right there, that's what it is.
Are you the gatekeeper? Oh!
Never here. Safe space. All right, guys. Also, just like, I used to do magic when I was a kid, so I love that. I love this. Like, I love this a lot. Not just as a kid, as a teenager too, but I love that. This guy. Hey man.
Hey.
Want to close out the show?
Sure.
Cool. Am I staying up for this one?
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Fuck it. We're here. Ladies and gentlemen, man who needs literally no introduction here at Lee's Roots. Please give it up for the man behind the bar, in front of the bar, everywhere, in and around and above and below the bar. Give it up for Casey, everyone.
Yes, hello, thank you. I am below the bar quite often. Down on the ground.
I thought that was like a cardinal direction, like south, because we both live down south. But no,
Shut up.
okay.
Jose, I'm happy to have you back.
I'm happy to be back. Casey.
Give it up for your host one more time before the end of the night. Thank you guys all for being here. So what I do, I do a lot of things when I come up on stage. I'll either do stand-up comedy, psychic readings, or I'll do the live podcast. But I've been branching out and doing more and more different things just to challenge myself creatively. But instead of doing that, I'm just gonna get up here and bitch.
Fuck yeah.
Because I've been having a rough time recently.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's I've been dealing with a lot of anxiety, panic attacks, and trying to get things going with my podcast and fighting with technology, and it's just been tough. And this is like a little bit of therapy for me. Doing creative stuff, being in front of people, talking about it, helps it get off of me and out into the universe so it can serve some other purpose.
I like that.
So,
do you want a chair? Can I sit down, please?
nah, I'll stand.
Okay.
But recently I've just been fighting a lot of depression and like dark thoughts, and I've been losing it, man.
It's crazy because I've actually been like going through something similar. So I'm starting to think it's like a collective thing. Because a lot of people are kind of going through this.
It could be that, I was just talking with a bunch of drunk idiots on the podcast and trying to have like highbrow conversation. Well, you motherfuckers, you're ruining me. But I one of my teachers, Joe Tedesco. Yeah. So he told me like one of the great things about when you have messages and you're talking about it, people listen different ways. People listen consciously, they listen subconsciously and superconsciously. So I can tell you hello, and you can get everything from that, or you can get nothing. Like it's all about how you're listening and where your hearing is coming from.
Yeah.
And right now I've been doing a lot of like speaking to get this stuff out of me, but I don't know if I'm being heard. And that's the thing that just like breaks my heart and makes me sink. It's like not feeling acknowledged, not feeling heard. And thank you.
I want to ask you something if that's okay.
Yeah.
So, because this is something that, maybe this is also like serving others as well here, but when you are in that state is it like that depressed state, right, and not feeling heard and not feeling acknowledged? Is it that you're observing that things are actually being that way, or is it that even in spite of evidence showing you that things are not as bad as they appear, you're still feeling that way regardless?
Yeah, and I'm not throwing myself a pity party. Like I get it that everybody's doing their best.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and sometimes it's just not like I'm putting expectations on things, and that's where I'm failing. Is like to not have any expectations. I can pour my heart out and nobody will get it,
Right.
and that's okay. It's I guess it comes back to like manifestation. Like if I want somebody to hear me, I got to do things like get on a microphone, get on a podcast, or call one of my best friends. But I really wish there was more active listening in our world because everybody wants to talk, but the people who talk the most want to feel heard, right?
Heard that.
You're one of my guys.
Prime example. Textbook.
And as much as I try, like I can't tune people out. I don't want to because I don't want that done to me. Like I want to feel heard. I want to acknowledge whatever truth there is about myself or who I'm talking to. And it doesn't matter if the connection is great or limited or not there at all. Like I always put in that effort because I know I'm a human being. I'm only going to be here temporarily. So for the time that I got, I try to use it effectively. And I want that to ripple out more. I guess I'm being drawn into teaching again.
How much of that expectation is you putting it on others to hear you, or are you putting that expectation on yourself to speak in a manner that should be heard from jump?
I mean, it's a bit of both, and I don't like even expecting people to hear me. Like, there's somebody in this room right now that is not listening, and it's okay. It's not like you must listen, but thank you. I appreciate you. But
is the frustration the fact that they're not listening, or is the frustration the fact that what you're saying isn't being communicated in a way from your own personal standard?
Here, I'll give you an example, and it won't answer your question.
Cool, love it.
So, I had it. Now it just flew away.
And it wasn't my fault. Yes.
No, it wasn't your fault this time.
Context, it usually is my fault.
Whatever.
I don't want to.
It's responsibility, personal and communal. Like we have a responsibility to the people around us, even total strangers. That like we are all human beings. We are all trying to live our lives, and we're all at various levels of the human experience. And right now, I've been so like pulled apart by like everybody needing my attention and my attention not being needed by anybody. I just feel like I'm literally being pulled apart from my fucking chest out.
Okay.
So that doesn't answer your question.
Well, no, but it doesn't not provide an answer. And I'm not trying to just be, vague for the sake of catching it all, but I will say, so maybe I can, if it's okay.
Yeah, it's always okay.
Share something. So for me, I've recently had to really look at my own, especially this year. This year I've gone through a lot of growth, a lot of journey.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And fuck, that road is rocky.
Yeah, it always is.
Like, so, and there comes a point where, you don't know where the line is until you've crossed it, right?
Mm.
You don't often know. And that line for me was realizing how much of me I was giving to others and their time and their goals and their vision. And it doesn't mean that I wasn't getting things out of it, but it doesn't mean also that I was actually doing it for me. Other than the idea of occupying my time so that I wouldn't regress into old habits. And there's a point though where that's not actually serving like a future version of me. That's just keeping the old me at bay and helping out other people with their dreams.
Yeah.
And
something you just said right now, just like, if these people knew the old me, they'd listen hard.
yeah, because they have the context.
Yeah.
Because they have the context. The only people who can appreciate how much you've done is those who know where you started.
Right.
So, I say that to say, there comes a point where I've been talking a lot with my therapist about this too, just with different relationships I've had in my life, romantic, platonic, business ones as well, where at some point, there was like, what was true for me was I just had to be okay with whoever the fuck I was showing up to others, that was good enough. And anything else, for people to appreciate, accept, understand, compute, whatever it might be, was either gonna be understood or it wasn't. And it wasn't my job anymore to try to figure out how they can receive me in the way that it fits best for them. It was never meant from from bad intentions on their end. It was never meant from a bad place even on my end. It was, just a point of those who get. How long have you and I known each other?
8 or 9 years.
Yeah, I could say gobbledygook to you, and you would know every single. In fact, I often do say gobbledygook to you.
Yeah.
And you often know exactly what I mean. I don't need to.
It's usually your drink order, and yeah.
Yeah, and that's actually true. And also, my orders are actually very simple. It's what comes out after I order a whole bucket that it gets fun. But more importantly, you understand what to tune out, you understand what to listen to, you understand when it's like deeply affecting me, you know when I'm just bullshitting you.
Yeah.
All of the above. I don't have to try to explain things to you. I don't have to come with only one side of my masks.
I'll tell you why it comes easier for our long-standing relationship, and this could be said for somebody who I don't know either. So it's like,
right,
a lot of the listening that I practice happens in the eyes. Like, that's where you hone in on what's being said, what's not being said, and then you ask the right questions, hopefully, or it leads you to the path of like, this is the breakdown, how do I break through?
Right. And this could also happen, on the opposite end too. You can be with someone for as long as I've known you, right? 8 or 9 years, and realize, oh my gosh, I've been talking to a brick wall. Actually, no, a brick wall would still be more productive because at least the echo back is exactly what you said.
It's not a telephone game.
Exactly. So I say that to say that's equally frustrating on the opposite end, right? It's not just the tenure that we have that allows me to communicate with you so easily. It's the actual friendship, it's the actual chemistry, it's the actual, stars that aligned the way that they did for us, whatever they did. And
I think, was it Dex earlier that said it best? There's not going to be this group of people here.
That's right, yeah.
And I fucking love that. Like this.
I'm trying to avoid this side of the room. I'm sorry. I just realized I'm having a whole thing on this side.
Like that spoke to me. Like every time, like I'm here a lot, and sometimes there are great people here. Right now there are, and sometimes there are people here that make me want to set the building on fire.
Yes.
And
it's easy.
I mean, I do have this lighter.
There you go. Look at that. And it's always handy for that reason.
Yeah.
Similarly, there's always, because this is the unique makeup that happens every time that's different, the version of you that is present today may never be seen again. And specifically, may never be seen again by someone who's only ever here that one time.
Yeah.
That might be their takeaway, whatever their takeaway is of you, might be the only takeaway they ever have of you. And it still doesn't define you, even though they've defined you for themselves.
Yes.
And there's a moment where I don't think I've ever been able to vocalize this, but subconsciously I'm so nervous of what that takeaway is from others that I try to put on.
Fuck that.
Right. That's been a breakthrough for me. That's been, even in its mildest forms.
Yeah.
That's been that breakthrough.
It happened back when we were doing our leadership training, our cult shit.
Yeah. We weren't a cult code. That's actually what
we were a cult.
What? No, it was a leadership training program that had a very strong community. Pick your favorite. There's like 4 of them here. Yeah.
These words are just labels.
Yeah. We'll give, if anyone wants a history lesson, either one of us can do it. But importantly,
we're not going into the history of that.
That's exactly right.
That you come talk to us later.
Yes.
We won't recruit you.
It's a whole episode in itself.
Yeah, that's a whole mini series.
You want to know what? Kava bars are a cult.
Also true. We're gonna get real for a second here about that.
Cult is not inherently positive or negative. We're gonna get way off track.
True. Let's stay on here. That's fine. I like where this was going.
Yeah. So I enjoyed the opportunity to come up here and talk to you guys. I'm not gonna stretch this out longer than it needs to be. I feel content, and thank you guys for hanging. And it was my pleasure to be up here with you. I don't know what you want to call this. This is just a man on stage with a microphone.
It is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month.
Oh, thank God.
So nailed it. And thank you for being exactly who you are in this moment.
Thank you for being who you are in this moment.
I love you, man.
All of you guys have a fantastic evening. Thank you for being a part of this. Be safe, have fun, and get all the sex you can.
Yeah, always. And Kava, in no particular order. Ladies and gentlemen, this officially concludes our open mic here tonight. Also, I always keep forgetting.